Yo, what up, people? Smithers to a motherfucking R here today, of course, to give you guys like a fucking week late fucking review. But if you didn't know already, Noucome is over at episode 10. It was only like just like, oh my god, why is it just like that fucking anime? Shit. It's another fucking anime, which ended just like this at 10 fucking episodes. And I didn't like it because that one was really good too, and it was somewhat sort of like this, mad random and funny. And it had like a lot sort of kind of, fuck it. Look, it's over. And in the last episode, it turns out that he didn't actually fail his mission. Apparently, he ended up shooting up his nose, and then it's like continues on with the fucking day. And so, yeah, they go to like a fucking haunted house, and then it's like this whole crazy situation. Then she's like fucking running, and then basically how it turns out, this dude is like forced by, of course, absolute choice. Who we should all most likely be aware now is, of course, the fucking president. Like it has to be student council president. It obviously has to be this bitch. Like, I mean, so much is just so coincidental. It has to be her. And if it isn't, then I'm gonna have my mind fucking blown. But to be honest, odds are no second season. No, I don't see it. But there's a chance. There always is a chance. Because you should know by now. No matter whether you're in Japan, America, don't matter where the fuck you are, they'll always take something and they will always remaster the shit, and they will always try and add on to shit that is already invented that is somewhat popular. So if Noucome becomes popular, of course it will always have a second season. No matter what the fuck, how shitty it is, no matter what. Look at Fairy Tail. Basically, it ended how we kind of expected it sort of end. He had choices. Like, that's why I like this. They actually incorporated the choices to like the last episode, which at the time I didn't know was the last episode until I actually saw it, and I was like, oh shit, I should probably go check to see how long these episodes are. Like, how many episodes are gonna be? And apparently it's only 10. I was like, this is the last one. And I was disappointed because I didn't know. I was like, oh, like that's really it. Like, it was so enjoyable, and now it's like I'll never have that same moment again. Like, fuck. But you know what? I gotta say this. When those choices came up, and it gave him 4 choices, I was like, okay, we got a 4. We got a first time 4. I was like, okay. And basically it's like, confess to this such and such, confess to such, confess to such and such. They're all like fucking, I don't know A, B, and C, but basically he has to confess to one of these girls. And then there was like D, which, like the 4th one, which was like something. Like something happens or some shit. What? Wasn't it something happens? Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking something happens. And then he starts freaking out because he chooses something happens. And while this is happening, fucking Chocolate is going through this whole thing about she's like madly falling in love with him and she doesn't know what to do. This is how the rest of the episode sort of went. Because I don't really want to talk about like go into like every single detail, because to be honest, it was like pretty much just like every other episode with mad fucking comedic moments. Like there was like this scene on the fucking swimming pool with like niggas with fucking face masks, like fucking yeah, magic is power against like fucking Brocon, like cis, like what, I can't say Lolicon, fuck, I'm trying to remember. Cause Siscon, yeah, Siscon motherfuckers, they're all over the sister chick, and they're like having like this fucking war at sea. And then, like, this nigga gets caught up in the middle. I'm like, oh. But besides that, he completed his mission by, of course, deciding to do the right thing. He had a choice when they were running from the haunted house, because she ran out screaming. She was, like, holding on to him. She even got so scared that she went back into adolescence. Like, she, like, progressed back to a child. Regression. Yo, this bitch got scared. Oh, my. Like, that actually does happen if you didn't know. Basically, she got scared so much that she regressed back into a little girl, and she completely forgot the entire events that happened where she's like holding on to him, and he's like, oh god. And he has a choice. He can either go left and get a picture of her crying, and, you know, she continued to cry. Or he can, you know, continue how he is, and he can just take her to the exit, and she'll be good. And, of course, he's a good guy. And I was like, okay, I'd do the same. Like, fuck it. Like, fuck this mission. Like, I'd much rather fail. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Like, at some point you gotta realize, like, yo, some people, I believe when they're watching this, like, yo, man, I would easily just fucking do that. Like, it ain't hard. Like, making a girl cry and like taking a picture and then I'm fucking free of this. Why not? Well, it's this whole thing about, yes, it's one thing to be trapped with a fucking like illness or some shit. But isn't it worse to break your own character, your own moral values for your own benefit? That's basically how the whole situation was, where he had to decide whether he was going to put above his personal happiness or his moral values. And to be honest, he made the most unrealistic decision ever. Like, not unrealistic. Let me change that. Uncommon, yes. In a sense, it depends. Because people are more, technically speaking, not everybody's like that. There are very few people, to be honest, that will put nothing above their morals. Like, they'll say, like, they got their word. They will fucking die for their word. They really will. Like, there's still some people actually out there like that. But not really anymore. More, it's now like, okay, fuck it. Like, I'd, of course, make the bitch cry more, take my picture, now I'm set. It's all about personal satisfaction. That's what most of life is, really now. Like, well, that's how it's always been. It's always about personal satisfaction. That's part of our whole ID system and our fucking super ego and our ego, basically. Super ego, we gotta fucking compromise. Basically, fucking angel demon. You got your fucking demon ID, which is actually legitly, this is actually psychology. I'm giving you motherfuckers a psychology lesson. Basically, when you're fucking first born, you have your fucking ID. Your ID is your pre-consciousness in a sense, like before you know anything. And it's just basic wants and needs. Everything you want must be fulfilled right now. You need it to happen to you right the fuck now. Basically, that's why babies cry when they don't get immediate, like, if they want food, you feed them, or they'll cry. And they won't stop crying until you feed them because they immediately want it. And then after a while, they start developing their ego, which is basically like, okay, we can't get everything, but eventually we're going to have to compromise on a couple of things. And then it develops also into like a superego, which is basically like your sense of dealing with like stress and emotions. And basically, in a sense, your superego is your good side, but it's also not. Because in a sense, it can warp your personality. And of course, if you've ever heard of somebody who's very egotistic, they're all about themselves. That's mostly because they have a very strong superego. ID, in a sense, is more for people who are very rational and they just do it. But yeah, they have more of that. Mostly, your ego controls everything, and the superego is just there, like, yeah, don't do it. There are other ways to accomplish your need without having, just go like fucking kill somebody to get your need or your fucking want. And your ID's like, go fucking kill that bitch and take that fucking money and go to the store and get some fucking food. Like, that's what your ID is literally like. And you're like, no, I'm not gonna do it because there are bad repercussions for that. That's what your superego realizes and tries to break down to your ego, which is your actual consciousness. Now there you fucking go. There's a psychology lesson for your ass. I fucking passed the class. Hell yeah, fuck it. School's over. Yes. You niggas don't even know. Well, I hope you do. I hope you do realize what it feels like to be out of my first college fucking semester and pass, hopefully, all my classes. So basically, he gets the fucking choices to listen, like, like basically, confess to so-and-so, confess to so-and-so, confess to so-and-so. And then there was like a fourth answer. I was like, oh, God. Of course he's gonna pick the fourth one. He always is, because once the fourth one came up, I was like, fuck. Like, it doesn't even matter what the first three were, which we already know was basically confessed to a different girl. Because, of course, student council president, she wanted, like, this nigga's bland. He isn't gonna do it, so I'm gonna force him to. But she gave him an escape route, which I hate. And then basically, like, fucking chocolate, she goes this whole thing where she's starting to realize that she loves him, and she gets jealous, and she's like fucking screaming, I love you, and then basically chases after her, like, they're in like this fucking booth, he's holding down the fucking microphone, everybody in the fucking, like the fucking water park can hear him, and she's like, I like you, and I confess, and she's confessing her feelings, he's like, yeah, I like you too, but not like that, and then it's like, we're on microphone, and it's like, oh shit, and then it's like fucking over. To be honest, that was probably the worst reenactment of how the fuck it went. Like, oh god. But it was just good. Like, yo, like I gave you a psychology lesson, so that should cover enough for the episode. my ability to fucking remember most of it, because I was like, oh fuck. Like mostly, to be honest, it was a shit ending. But of course, I did not expect anything better than it. To be honest, no. Like, well, to be honest, like when I say ending, I mean ending as in the fucking genre type ending. Like fucking every type of fucking like romance with fucking multiple women always ends the same way, with the nigga not doing shit about it. Or be like, well actually this time, I actually had to correct myself. It wasn't that shit, because this dude, instead of not realizing shit, got confessed to, and instead said, no, I cannot return those feelings. Fuck that shit, peace the fuck out. Yes. It was different than the whole, like, it's the fucking end, let's do a beach episode, which, I kind of get the whole swimsuit thing now. It's like, beach, oh god. There are just so many hidden jokes in this fucking series. You cannot even begin to fucking comprehend. There are so many. Like, it's out of the fucking charts. Like, oh my god. I'm all over the place now. Yeah. Basically, Noucome episode 10. Overall, I'd have to honestly give it, you know what? I'd say overall, it was a 9.1 out of 10. It was a great episode. We had the moral dilemmas. And overall, we got a somewhat okay ending for the series. I want to say it's kind of shit because it does everything else that every single other sort of horror anime really kind of does. Except for like a few that I haven't most likely seen yet. But there are a couple out there, I believe, where it doesn't end where this dude is like fucking like, yeah, it doesn't pick anybody. Well, actually, to be honest, that's like all of them. Like, there are a couple, hopefully, out there that maybe actually haven't picked somebody. And I know that, like, when I say pick somebody, I mean like actually in the story. He picks that one person, and then everybody else involved, like the other girls, they are fucking like torn apart about it, and they're like distraught. But you know, she's happy and he's happy, and the girls just got to move on and find somebody else. Like, you don't see that. Which is like a realistic, in a sense, point of view, but they don't ever show that, because that's like really depressing. It's like, oh, that'll get people fucking pissed. And so instead, Noucome, instead of doing the whole thing where he's like, he's a fucking retard, which he kinda is, they didn't leave that out by no means. But he actually realized what she was saying, that she liked him, like, a lot. She wanted, in a sense, jump this nigga right there on the spot if she could. If he would allow it, she probably would have jumped the motherfucker. Like, the nigga wasn't retarded. For that, they get props. This nigga clearly stated, no, I don't feel the same way. I cannot return your feelings. She's like, I still love you. And I'm like, okay, I can accept this. Yeah, I can accept it. So, 9.1 out of fucking 10. Great. In a series overall, oh yes, I'm waiting for this. 9.5 out of fucking 10. It is an epic series filled with crazy ass laughs at every corner. They make fun of censorship. They make fun of everything. Like, they really do. Like, I'm trying to think of an anime that makes fun of, like, well, there are a lot of animes that make fun of, like, a lot of shit. But this one, for the most part, didn't come, oh no. This one, for the most part, was a seasons one, and so I liked it. They made fun of a lot of stuff. But, unfortunately, it ended just like Bloodland. Oh, fuck. I don't want to say it, because that name brings shame. By the way, the OVA come out, and I'm most likely going to review that shit, because the second OVA didn't come out yet, so we'll see. But look, Bloodland ended the same way. It made fun of a lot of stuff, like fucking Dragon Ball. Well, that was more references. Well, this, on the other hand, was references, but they were also making fun of this shit to the extreme. Like, oh my god. They made fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If you, honestly, if you had, like, one episode out this entire motherfucker to pick, like, everything else would be fucking destroyed or gone. I honestly would only want that censorship episode, because it was fucking hilarious. Like, why is this black light here? Like, oh my, That was fucking hilarious. Like, the magical wind. What the fuck is this? Like, it was fucking hilarious. And it just goes so well because that's how anime really, that's how they really do it. He was like noticing this shit, like, what the fuck is this? Like, that's defying the laws of physics. Like, yes. But look, the series overall, 9.5 out of fucking 10. I will still give an epic because it did end sort of okay, and I can go along with the ending. It ended early and prematurely, but overall, it was a sort of comedy gag series, so I can accept it. And it didn't, in a sense, really have that much of a story, in a sense. It kind of did, like, to be honest, but mostly, the most enjoyable part of it wasn't really this dude trying to get rid of it. It was the situations that he got into because he had it. And so, I'm not going to knock out points because they didn't really finish up the story. Because there is also, most likely, going to be OVAs to finish up the story. Most likely, and if not, Season 2. I want to see it. We'll see, because, again, you should know by now, no matter if you live in Japan or America, and possibly the UK, I'm not sure how things go over there. But you should know by now that if something ever really becomes popular or successful, then they will most likely make a Season 2 out of it, or remaster it. You can guarantee that shit. I guarantee you that something like that will happen. Yeah. No, it's happening right the fuck now. Like, let's just think of a couple series. No, I'm not even. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not. But you get my fucking point. Like, think about it. Like, just think about it yourself. Like, fuck it. Think about all the series right now. Okay, that was fun. Now then, with that being said, Smithers to motherfucking R. Noucome is officially over. If an OVA comes out, I'll most likely review it, but it won't be immediate. No, fuck that. Because OVAs I handle differently. But either way, fuck it. Smithers to motherfucking R. Peace the fuck out.